Freak time! Teleport entrance. So, Ben, bad news. You can't count to 1 billion. It is physically impossible. 1 billion. It is a huge number, Ben. Just huge. Billion. I don't think people realize just how big 1 billion is, like million, billion. They sound nearly the same, they rhyme, they're both a lot of money, yay! It literally cannot be done by a single person to count to 1 billion. What's that? Don't believe me? Let's do the math. That's what makes a good video blog. Math. Then you've got about 1 billion numbers to say there, and I'm gonna say it takes about 3 seconds to say each number. And I'm not talking about the easy numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, that took less than like 3 seconds. I'm already at 20. It gets a little harder when you're like 446,371,121. 446,371,122. Harder than you think. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt though and say that you can say each of these numbers really, really fast and aren't gonna like make any mistakes or anything along the way. So that's 3 billion seconds worth of counting. Divided by 60 gives us 50 million minutes. Divided by 60 gives us 83,333,000.3 hours. Divided by 24 gives us 34,722.22 days. And divided by 365 gives us 95.1 years. But Jay, people live to be 95. Foiled again. But let's take into account the 5 years it probably took you as a little kid to learn how to, count and understand numbers and stuff if you're a really smart kid. That gives us to 100 years, plus that's if you're doing nothing but counting from that moment forward. That doesn't count sleep, which takes up 1/3 of your life, and that doesn't count eating, or talking to anyone else, or drinking, or taking any breaks to do anything else ever. It's just counting to 1 billion. It can't be done. But I also did a little bit of light research. I didn't get too deep into it, but I found multiple sources that said this. The average man speaks 7,000 words a day, and the average woman speaks, wait for it, 20,000 words a day. Ugh, 3 times as much, ladies. Ugh, take a breath. Actually, that number seems kind of high, but let's assume there are those really chatty people out there who can say 20,000 words every single day. That would give them 7,300,000 words a year, which if you lived 85 years would give you 620,500,000 words spoken over the course of your life. But you're not going to kick it at 85, right, Ben? You're living to at least 100, right? Another 15 years, no problem. Bad news though, you're only at 730 million. You know what that is? Not even 3/4 of the way there. God, what were you doing with those extra 15 years, you slacker? On a happier note, we can apply that same logic to money. That means if you had $1 billion, you could spend $20,000 a day for the rest of your life for 100 years and still not spend it all. What would you spend it on? Of course, it is possible to get to like $1 billion because that's not going one at a time. That's a lot of stuff coming at you at once, if you're really successful. But anything that's gonna go one at a time, like reading, like you're never gonna read 1 billion pages. You're not gonna travel 1 billion miles. You're not going to meet 1 billion people. Oh, this is starting to sound depressing. So yeah, Ben, there's a finite number of words that you are ultimately going to say, but you've got 730 million of them, and who you say them to, and how you say them, and what people say to you, and what pages you turn, and what miles you travel, and what people you meet are all decisions that are going to ultimately determine who you as a person are. So even though there's this giant umbrella of 1 billion, there is still an unlimited number of possibilities. And I don't know, I guess that's just been making me like really happy all day. So my question for you and everyone else is, Ben, of the unlimited things you could do out there, what is one thing that is on your bucket list? Now, see you in another life, brother.